how many times have you got super excited that you try a golf tip, it works, but then you go out the following day and for some reason it just suddenly stops? Well, this was a situation for a recent student of mine, Rich. He tries so hard, he practices a lot, and he cannot get the consistency that he wants. He wants to learn how to hit driver straighter on a consistent basis. He wants to learn how to strike his irons much better, but he just hasn't been able to do it. And you can imagine, certainly when I come to see him, he's unbelievably tense and really stiff. So, like a lot of students, Rich was falling into the same old trap that I see with so many other students, focusing on lots of things, but missing one vital ingredient that every single golfer needs to learn. In this video, I want to share with you what it is, because without it, I don't care whatever you're working on, nothing will work consistently well. I'm super excited to share it with you. If you're new to the channel, it's one of your first videos of mine, please consider subscribing. I release videos just like this every single week to try and help you improve your game. Plus, you never have to remember a thing. Everything we do here, I'll put into a free download practice guide in the description box below. So I'd love to take you through exactly the same process I took Rich through, because I think if you learn this, you will start to it will be like one of those aha moments, I'm sure it will, where everything starts to fall more effortlessly into play. Now, let me show you this. And this is what I started off with Rich. So he was really struggling with his ball striking. He couldn't generate any power. He definitely couldn't get any accuracy because he didn't know this. So what I want to show you is this. So if I have a look at it here, this is what we class as a square face, a club face that's pointing towards a target, right? The problem is, if you were to hit a golf ball like this, the problem is that shaft is very vertical, and the chances are the bottom of your golf swing now would be behind or on the ball. That would lead to, yes, maybe a straight shot, but it would lead to a very fat shot and of awful contact. Now, kind of Rich knew this. So what he would do to improve contact, he said, I know I need to get the bottom on my swing after the golf ball, Danny. So I need to get there's handle forward. Absolutely. But when he moves the handle forward, where's the face pointing now? It's to the right, isn't it? So if I move my handle forward, the face points to the right. So he would do that. He would strike it pretty reasonably, but then see these balls flying out to the right. So instinctively, what do you think he does? Bang, back to straight. But now the problem is, look, he goes back to straight, the shaft is now vertical, he starts flicking the wrist and starts fatting it. So he didn't understand the pattern. He was trying to work on all these things in his golf swing, but he didn't understand the pattern that all great players generally do through the impact area to get compression, strike, and accuracy. And it's simply this, and this is the first thing I want you to kind of play around with. If you put a club up like this, move your hands forward. You can see the face now is pointing to the right. All I want you to do, so I've kind of moved my handle forward, is this. Rotate the wrist downwards. So what I've done now is I've squared the face with a rotation of the wrist and the forearm downwards like this. So look at this now. From here, face aiming to the right, turn wrist down. So all I did, I put this on his club and I said, look, when you're coming into impact, that face is pointing to the right and high. I want you to practice getting the sensation of simply just doing this. 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 Look at this. Just to turn it down. It's what we call a turn down release. And he's like, well, that feels completely different. Because he's got what's called a throw release or a drag shank block release, right? Block slicing. So now he's got the sensation. I said, like, just practice this motion of just very simply just doing this. Turn that face down to the ground. No. No. Turn it down. There. Turn the face onto that golf ball. Now, I didn't get him to hit massive shots to start with. All I did was I said, look, let's just start with a few chips out there, because if you start to try and hit some massive shots to start with, you'd probably just go back to your old pattern. This is new, right? And I want you to do the same. Take some time and just stand maybe almost like a few, maybe 2 or 3 club widths apart. Get yourself set, and I want you to practice very gently. Just imagine this left arm rotating the club downwards. Just like this. So we're just chipping it out there. Just like that. Just chip it out there. And you can see here, look, I've just chipped it out there. My bottom of my golf swing, look, you see 4.6 inches after the golf ball. Just chipping it out there. Getting a sensation of now I know that the hands all rotate downwards, with a rotational motion this way. How that was like one of those aha moments for him. Massive, because this pattern of movement is so alien to him, because he was so used to this, and then now that doesn't work, this, that he would always generally slice it, strike it terrible. Now when Rich started this initially, this is kind of what happened. He didn't get it straight away, but then when he started to turn it down, he started to create shots that looked a little bit like this. Now the problem was, he would start to hit a few hooks. And you could probably imagine that, can't you? Well, if you turn this down, won't you shut the face? Yes, you would. That's not a bad starting point though, right? Turning it down, particularly if you're big slicing, this is a great starting point. But the reason why he was basically hooking it to start with was because he didn't have the second ingredient. So, notice this. I said, we've got to get the handle ahead, turn the forearm downwards, this way. But notice this, my right side here has an angle to it, hasn't it, right? Why? Because I, personally, am supporting this whole right side with my right side of my body. My right knee's moved in, my hips moved in, my right shoulder's moved in, and I'm supporting that club. When Rich started, this is what I see, and it kills your power, and it will kill your strike with this, is he didn't. His right side stayed solid, so that he's tried to turn it down, and he has done, but now the problem is, look, the face is anywhere left, because he can't keep this angle naturally if this right side doesn't support him. So the second set, once we got him feeling how the lead hand needed to rotate the club downwards, all I did was get him to just support that motion by banking his trail foot in, his knee in here, his hips going forward, shoulder, everything just leaning forward. Now suddenly, look, he can support that whole motion, look, into the shot. So now what happens, as opposed to that club violently flipping over, he's got a beautiful square face, but now suddenly he's starting to generate power and accuracy and strike with one simple move, which now he can take to the golf course. So I said to him as we're doing this, I said, look, we need to take this to the golf course, so let's have a little system. Get yourself set, and I want you to just imagine, you could start, even if you want, you could do it with your left hand, just practice, just a few little exercises, just throwing that club down, rotate downwards, support it with that right side, gradually build it up. You can see my right side's moving into the shot, supporting that motion. And we play a few shots like that, get ourselves set. Watch this beautiful little draw, just really exaggerating that turn down motion. And then we can say, look, if you start overdoing this, not a problem. What do we need to do? Same principle, get that right side supporting it even more as you turn it down. And now suddenly what you're doing is you're generating a beautiful strike, you're generating the squaring in the face, and you're supporting that whole motion with the trail side moving through the shot. And all of this can be felt just a few seconds before every swing, just like that. All you've got to do, I'll put maybe a link in the description for one of these in the description box below, but this is the cheapest and one of the best training tools you could possibly have, and it's super, super simple. So before I finish, I'd love to take just 2 more minutes of your time. Now, Rich had a pretty good setup, but not everyone has this, and I just want to mention this before we finish. When you're setting up to the shot, I've said to you we want its left arm to be rotating downwards to the ball like this, right? You can get some feedback. A lot of players have their left arm at the start of the swing too much rotated here when they're gripping the golf club, often because their grip's too weak, but they're rotated in. When it's like this, generally what you're going to see through impact is this left arm often wanting to roll in the opposite direction, which opens the club face, okay? So just bear that in mind. Rich didn't need this, but I do see this a lot. Set your left arm up, just make sure everything's rotated a little bit more this way so that it has the ability to then rotate down. Then, as you can hear in the background, it's ideal to have devices like Hack Motion, which if you're regular to my channel, you'll see me using this, to give you feedback as to whether you're doing it correctly. Sometimes people feel they're doing it correctly, but having some device showing you is super, super important. So I get myself addressed like this. We're in address position. It's telling me to make a short swing. Get the feeling of that wrist turning downwards, and then perfect. It's just giving me that sensation of exactly, am I doing this correctly? Obviously, if I start to do it incorrectly, like make a short swing, this would be incorrect. It's going to tell me that. And this is so, so important for golfers. So do me a favor if you can, make sure you train this motion coming backwards and forwards into this golf ball. Use devices like Hack Motion to provide you with that feedback. It's super, super simple. And understanding and getting a sense of how this club head works is possibly the most important thing any golfer can work on. Yes, you work in the body, hugely correct, hugely important, but this is the gold dust right here, right in the head. So get used to feeling it. It will be massively beneficial. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, maybe share it with one of your friends. And of course, look, if you're new to the channel, press that subscribe button right down here. If you'd love to know how this works with the driver, click this video right here. But until next week, have a wonderful golfing week.